So this is just an extension of what we've already been doing. So let's see what they want. They want to see if it matches. Okay, so let's look. If I look here, let me get a new pen then. Let's try this again. Set it equal to 0. Set it equal to 0. Set it equal to 0. And then what does it mean when it's squared? It means there's a bounce. All right, let's compare. There's my -3, check. There's my -1, check. There's my 2, check. So let's see. Through, bounce. All right. It says, what can you do to the equation to make it better fit? All right. So now, I don't know if you remember doing this first semester because it was a long time ago. But when we did, let me get a piece of scratch paper. Remember when we had vertex form? And you would take a point, and you would take the vertex, let's say -110. You would plug this into the vertex, you would plug this into the x and the y, and you would find A. What you're deciding is, when it goes through the 2 points, what is the vertical stretch or what is the vertical compression? Is it okay, obviously I'm not very good at doing that. Is it a vertical compression, which means less than 1, like 1/3? Or is it a vertical stretch, which would be, let's say, 3, because that's greater than 1. So they're asking us to do the same thing. So we have to find another point. We're going to fake it a little bit, okay, because they didn't do a very good job of finding a point that makes it obvious, because this is 10, 20. Maybe you see one better than me. So we'll just pretend that this is 0, 23. Let's make it 22, okay? So if we're going to do 0, 22, it's going to be y equals a, x plus 3, x plus 1, x minus 2 squared. And we're going to take that 0, 22, sorry, my dog's drinking water. I don't know if you hear that in the background. And we're going to plug this at that in for y. Plug in 0 plus 3, which is 3, 0 plus 1, which is 1, 0 minus 2, which is -2. -2 squared is 4, times 1 is 1, times 3 is 3, so 22 equals 12a. Divide by 12. Simplify 11/6. So my equation would be y equals 11/6, x plus 3, x plus 1, x minus 2 squared. Okay? So they're actually asking you to not plug in 0.22. They're asking you to plug in 1/16. So what I want you to do, which you will do in the Ed puzzle, is you're going to give me the value of A in the Ed puzzle. Okay? So let's see if you were right. Put 16 in for y equals A, 1 in for x, 1 in for x, 1 in for x. 1 plus 3 is 4, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 minus 2 is -1 squared, which is 1. Multiply, multiply, multiply. 16 equals 8a, a equals 1/2. So y equals 1/2 x plus 3, x plus 1, x minus 2 squared. Okay? So how do you know if you're right? You could pick another point, but again, it's kind of hard to see these points. So all right, let's look here. Give me a second to read this one. So there was a lot to read. It says what degree? 1, 2, it's going through, remember? 3, 4. Okay. Oh, no, that wasn't through. That's a bounce. Is it a bounce? Hold on, let me get my glasses. One sec. So I checked, and this is actually a bounce. So let's see. One of my zeros is 0. One of my zeros is 2 with a bounce. And then one of my zeros is 3. So that means that would be x, kind of like x minus 0, but you just put x. X minus 2 squared, and x minus 3. So it's degree 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It ends up working out. Okay? So what degree? Degree 4. What are the roots? 0, 2, and 3. What is the exact equation? So y equals a times x. I could put the x in parentheses if I want to. X minus 2 squared, x minus 3. And they want us to use this point, 2.5, -0.2, so I will do that. negative 0.2 equals a. Plug in x. 2.5 minus 2 is 0.5 squared. And 2.5 minus 3 is negative 0.5. Okay, I'm going to pick up my little calculator, one sec. So I multiplied it out in my calculator. Divide by 0.3125, which I did down here. And I end up, it's actually positive, I messed up. So a equals 0.64 as a fraction. It's 16 over 25, so I'd rather see 16 over 25, okay? So then my equation, y equals 16 over 25 parentheses. Oh wait, actually not, x minus 2 squared, x minus 3, okay? So there's my equation there, and it says what is the lowest depth? The roller coaster's tunnel, so the lowest point is here, which it looks like, I don't know, we'll just say negative 1.8. But if you look up here, this 250 represents 2.5. So 1.8 would represent 180 feet. Okay. All right, let's turn the page. What do they want you to do? They have a stretch factor, so they want you to actually find the equation. Okay, so I'm going to get my glasses on for this one and let you actually see it. All right, let's look here. Negative 1, negative 2. So negative 2 with a bounce, which means x plus 2 squared. So let me put that in pink because there's my bounce. And then it looks like 1, 2, no bounce, x minus 2. But they want us to use this point right here to find the exact a, which is 0, 16. So 16 equals 0 times x plus 2 squared times x minus 2. Oops, a. Okay. And then 0 plus 2, so that's 4. Oops, wait a minute, I messed up. Sorry, I went a little bit too fast, so I need to slow down. So 16 goes in for y, and 0 goes in for x. So 0 plus 2 is 2 squared is 4. 0 minus 2 is negative 2a, so negative 8a equals 16. A equals negative 2. Okay, so what are some things we can say about it? This is a reflection over the x-axis because it's with the y, but it's a reflection, so it really means the x. Vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Degree 3, because there's 2, 3. Okay, those are just some things we can say. The y-intercept is 0, 16. Okay. There are 2 real roots, where one of them is a bounce, one of them is repeated. Okay. All right, let's do this one. So this one, 1, 2, negative 2 with a bounce, and positive 2 with a bounce. So x plus 2 squared, x minus 2 squared. Let's show the bounce. Okay, and we need to pick a point. We're going to say that looks right. We're going to say 0, negative 3. So negative 3 goes in for y. 0 goes in for x. 0 plus 2 is 2 squared. 0 minus 2 squared is 4. Negative 3 equals 16a. All right, equation. Y equals negative 3/16. X plus 2 squared, x minus 2 squared. Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions on the Ed puzzle. What does the negative mean? What does the 3/16 mean? What degree is it? Okay. And I think that's good enough. All right. Write an equation. Yeah, okay, so this is a little bit different because this time instead of giving you a graph, it's giving you a word problem. So it's telling you it's crossing the x-axis. If it tells you it's crossing the x-axis, that's a root, x plus 1. But it says it bounces. So if it bounces, that means that's squared. And then it crosses, which means it goes right through at 4, which means x minus 4. and it goes through the point negative 218. So this goes in for your y, a. Negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, squared is 1. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. Negative 18 equals negative 6a, a equals 3. Okay, just to make sure we're clear, the degree is 3, 2, 3. The roots are negative 1 and 4, where this one is your bounce. It is a vertical stretch by a factor of 3. We could find the y-intercept by plugging in 0. And if we plug in 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, squared is 1, times 3 is 3. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 12. Okay? Okay, so Armando comes up with, so Armando got this. So let me graph both of those and see if it works. Okay? So I put them in the calculator. I haven't graphed them both. But what they're saying is, okay, well, we know the roots are negative 1 and 4. You can see the graph. There's negative 1 and 4. There's the bounce at negative 1. And they want to know, well, look, if it's an even thing, then it's a bounce. Do you think it's going to be the same thing? So let's see. It looks similar, doesn't it? But since it's to the 4th power, it's a little bit different. So it's close, but not the same thing. So what makes it the same? The things they have the same are the roots are the same, which means the bounce is the same. The vertical stretch is the same. But the problem, what makes it different, is one thing is squared and the other thing is to the 4th power. So if you were going to get a 3 and you square it versus 3 to the 4th, that's definitely going to be a different answer. Okay, let's turn the page. Let's get to the homework. This is what was in the lesson, so you'll be fine. This one, they want you to take this and plug it in. I think I'll do this one, and then you're going to do this one. Okay, so what they want you to do is they want you to go 5 plus 2i squared minus 10 times 5 plus 2i equals negative 29. So I boxed this thing out, which, because there isn't very much space, I'm going to make up more space here and box it out. And we got to remember the rules for imaginary numbers. 5 times 5 is 25, 10i, 10i, 4i squared. Remember, when you see I squared is negative 1. So 4 times negative 1 is actually negative 4. So now 25 minus 4 is 21. And 10i plus 10i is 20i. Next thing, I want to distribute. Negative 50 minus 20i equals negative 29. Let me zoom it in a little bit. Let's see, 20i minus 20i, done. 21 minus 50 is negative 29. Are they equal? Yes. That means that yes, 5 plus 2i is one of the answers. So now what they want to do is, it says without solving, but you're going to solve it and you're going to tell me, is this also going to be another root? Okay. 8-50. I did a couple of them for you just to make sure you know that's degree 4. They want you to list and label. So if you look the way they did it, they just want you to go the 4th, the 3rd, squared, the 1st, and the a sub 0. Okay. I did the same thing for letter E, and then you do the rest. It's degree 1 because it's imaginary to the 1st power, a to the 1st. But there's no number at the end. That's why a sub 0 is 0. See how here there was a number at the end? That was my sub 0. That means there is no degree. This is degree 1. Okay? For 8-51, I didn't remember how much you remembered. So I made up a problem, and let's go over it. Okay? Oops, the time's about to stop, so I'm going to stop it, actually.